The world is more peaceful right now than ever before. Many experts, including German economist Max Rosa, have said that we are currently living in the most peaceful period of our species' existence. Max Rosa of Oxford University runs the website Our World in Data, and this astonishing chart shows the global deaths in conflicts per 100,000 people every year since 1400. The past 15 years have seen a rapid and substantial drop in conflict deaths worldwide. But that's just in war. What about our streets? What about theft, murder and rape? Well, this graph shows the homicide rate per 100,000 people in various European regions between the year 1300 and today. That's quite a decline. But that does go all the way back to the Middle Ages, when your best friend would bash your head in for a leg of lamb. How about over the past couple of decades? Well, this graph shows the rate of robberies, homicides and vehicle thefts across the G7 countries between 1995 and 2010. All three crimes have reduced significantly. According to Our World in Data, in 2006 there were 6,660 counts of terrorism worldwide. By 2009, that had dropped to just 560. And the number of deaths from terrorism has dropped also. When we take all these factors and put them together, it creates an interesting picture as to what is happening with world peace. And that's exactly what the Institute for Economics and Peace has done. Every year, the Sydney-based research firm analyses thousands of unique bits of data from every country and produces a peace score and a ranking for every country on Earth, called the Global Peace Index. In their latest 2017 index, the 5 most peaceful countries on Earth are Iceland, New Zealand, Portugal, Austria and Denmark. And the least peaceful are Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, South Sudan and Yemen. But if you look at the change in each country's peace index over the past 10 years, something strange has happened, which explains why overall the world is becoming less violent, whilst the newspapers are doing the opposite and only filling up with more violence. The peace gap is widening. The authors of the Global Peace Index have stated that over the past 10 years, 81 countries that were already peaceful have only become more peaceful. Yet 79 countries that were already unpeaceful have become even less peaceful each year. According to the Global Peace Index, Europe is the most peaceful region in the world, and every year since the index began, European countries have only got more and more peaceful each year. Except for France, which has seen a slight drop in rankings due to the recent terrorist attacks in the country. However, the publishers of the study have said that today, most European countries are now more peaceful than they have ever been in recorded history. Conversely, the world's least peaceful regions, the Middle East and North Africa, have only got less peaceful each and every year and are now less peaceful than ever. But as always, there is one developed country that has bucked the trend of increased peace among its peers. Not only has the United States of America dropped its ranking every year, but its peace index has also fallen faster than any other major developed country. In 2015, the US was ranked 94 out of 163 countries. In 2016, it was ranked 103. And this year, it fell again to 114 out of 163 countries. A rapid drop, which the researchers attribute in part to increased political instability and divide in recent years.
I was recruited in a neighborhood mosque by a special group called the Muslim Brotherhood. After the fall of the Ottoman Empire in 1924, the Muslim Brotherhood rose into existence in 1928 to bring back the Caliphate and Islamic, civilization, Ummah, and establish, Sharia law, the law of the world, and one world order under Allah. I was trained by them. I was mentally changed how to invade civilization like the Western civilization, how to obtain the power of the Western civilization. There, my school took place in the mosque. You see, the mosque is not like the church or like a synagogue. The mosque itself is an embassy, represent the Islamic State. It's a place of training, recruitment, where you hide weapon caches. Statistics shows by the FBI, 84% of our American mosques in America, they are radicals. 84%. Islam is not a religion. The majority of Islam, over 80+%, it's a political system, military system, government system. So Islam, it's really, only 14% of Islam is a religion. The rest of it is it's a fullness of government. And they came, to know that the only way to defeat the West and to defeat anything is by disinformation. How to, to teach those young men, the one they chose, how to infiltrate culture and bring about how to change the culture with disinformation. What is disinformation? Is when you release something to the people that you say it's a secret and it's not a secret. But you want the people to know this so they can step in one way versus the other. When you buy professors and send them to Turkey or Saudi Arabia to train and be paid to bring about socialism to the United States of America and Islamism. So this is when you pay politicians and you eat with them on the same table and you put sums of money. So now they are worshiping at the feet of Baal instead of the feet of this nation. This is how you shift the culture. This is what disinformation, this is what the KGB, will teach you. How to
and so you're actually trained by KGB as far as this subversion into America then?
I was sent to America. Yes, America was not on my radar until they said, we need somebody with a heart to take on the greatest giant, because the giant that we need to take against, they are the great Satan. That's what we called him, America. And the small Satan is Israel. And by taking on this, we can come and marry your women, at the university, obtain the citizenship, and now we can use the Constitution against your culture by your laws. We can take your laws against you by marrying into your culture. That was the way of infiltration.
Now, you say that the majority of Islam is really political, it's not religious, but yet we see that there's almost a ban of anything to do with Christianity in the American schools, but somehow our children are being taught as far Islamic prayers, and the doors open, and it seems like Islam is the only protected religion in America today.
Well, the mountain of education is the most important mountain, in our culture, because that's where our children are sitting at every day, going to elementary school, going to grammar school, and there the infiltration today. Tomorrow I will be talking about in detail, how it's done, but it is how they're infiltrating the Ivy League university and taking the power in writing the curriculum for the American children and offering the universities big sums of money from $12 million to $25 million a year to open Islamic centers. These Islamic centers will be able to write the school curriculum, the public school curriculum. And when they write those curriculum, what happened? They establish Islamization of the children. Gulen, he's one of the Turkish prince that he sits here in the United States of America, his friend of Erdogan, the president of Turkey. He said, why we need to destroy America by airplanes, while we can go to the fiber of this nation, bring grammar, Islamic grammar, English, Islamic English, geography, Islamic geography, history, Islamic history, and change the culture from its fiber. These are charter schools. Those today, there are over 150 Islamic charter schools. Each state pay about $150 million to invest every year in those schools to bring about Islamization to America. But nevertheless, everything is happening now. Since they saw the university students are converting to Islam and it's easy to socialize them and bring Marxism to them, they thought, okay, if we are going after the big student, why don't we go for the young, the 7th grader and younger, and now they are. And when we look at what they're teaching them, it's called Common Core. Common Core is the deadliest weapon ever. And when we look who's involved in Common Core, we find the Bill Gates, the Bushes, the Clinton, the Romneys, and the Kuwaitis, the Qataris, the Saudis, you know, and the Libyans, the Gaddafi family. All these families are sitting together on the same table. Even though we are fighting with these people, but these people are sitting on the table. It's really the God of this world that they're worshiping and not the God of heaven and earth. So
now there's something that's transpired in America, that there are so many publishers of books for the curriculum for schools. There were dozens, but now it's been narrowed down to just a few. Can you tell us? Tell us about it. So 3 publishers of school curriculum, books for schools, 3 publishers left in America when there used to be dozens. And who owns them?
Well, you have to come tomorrow and see that, you know, because, you know, this is really, because that's the heart of the whole thing. And you don't want to miss that part. But I'll give you one of them. Haftel. You know, this is one of the bigger ones, you know, and 2 other more, and I will talk about those tomorrow.
Okay.
But they are bought by Saudi dollars, and they are sitting behind the scene.
Just Google who owns Fox News. It's not Rupert Murdoch like we thought. It's a Saudi prince, and he owns Fox News. So there's a little bit of a control issue there. I've had Dan Rather on my show. He point blank said, Josh, in my 38 years or whatever it was at CBS, not one broadcast was mine. Every broadcast, they told me what to say.
You will understand how the Muslim world controlling the American world and the purpose of the United Nations and the United States of America. This will be the hate crime bill. The hate crime bill is a UN bill. It's UN 1618. The UN bill 1618, it is the hate crime to disallow anyone to speak on Islam or against Islam. You will be penalized with a hefty, you know, penalty. You'll be thrown in jail, and then you have to go to special camp to trained psychologically to accept and love the Muslim people. This is, you know, what Hillary Clinton will be bringing with her. That's the first order she'll be bringing to the United States of America. So if the UN take this, will be dominated by world civilization. These are 57 nations at the UN. They call the OIC, Organization Islamic Conference. The Organization Islamic Conference, they control the entire United Nation. United Nation plays the puppet of Islam.
Okay, so this is part of what the subversion, the infiltration, the taking over of America, that was part of the plan.
That is
from your higher-ups then.
The only reason why they're doing this, because behind the scene, they don't think Hillary will be able to win. They feel that Hillary is not going to be able to survive this because she's dealing with crisis, health crisis, and you know, and I believe, you know, it's very, you know, catastrophic in her life. And the other part, what we see in the media, and we'll talk about the mountain of media tomorrow, which is very important, is why they're hiding the truth from the public. Is the silent majority that is sitting out there, they have not spoken, and all this is coming all together. And they're really afraid of this, so that's why they are subjugating America to the United Nations. They tried to do this to bring America under the UN, and that's why they sequestered our military to give the upper hand to the United Nations.
General Michael Flynn, for example, came out and had to register retroactively as a foreign agent for Turkey. Now, this is a general who went around the country telling everybody how dangerous Islam is. Come to find out, he was just being paid by one side of it. He was being paid by Erdogan, who was going after Gulen here in the United States. And that's just one of 3 people from Trump's administration so far that have had to retroactively go and reveal, hey, we're actually foreign agents.
Hillary Clinton is sitting today and taking Islamic funds to bring the OIC into power into the United States of America, the Organization Islamic Conference. The reason why our president wants her, because she will take America in a place that we have not been this way before. She will finish America. She has painted the Christians as xenophobe, Islamophobe, irredeemable, homophobe and every other phobe, and she just called them name. She is painting the Christians just like Hitler painted the Jewish people with their animals. These people are not real people. They are not real human. They are irredeemable. That's what she said, word for word. The next thing, he executed 6 million of these. Our, brothers and
Deplorables.
Sisters. They destroyed them.
That's what the meaning is. That's what she's talking about. Basket of deplorables. Because they're subhuman.
Yes, and the unfortunate thing is our world is shifting, and America have not understood yet that, many of the things that's happening in America is to seize America from the roots and disable America to be the nation that God created. There are 2 nations on earth created for such time and hour and for God purpose. They were not there geographically, historically, or any other way. They were birthed by the Spirit of God, Israel, and the United States of America.
Amen.
And when God births something, it is for His purpose. And know that we are human. We make a lot of mistakes. Everybody make a mistake. But nevertheless, America has done great deed. America is the breadbasket of the world. America is the city on a hill that feed the millions of people all over. We give monies to the whole world. America. If America was not there, tyranny will fill the earth. The Muslim would have taken over the world long time ago. America. Our soldiers today, you see graveyards by the millions. All over the world, soldiers, Jews and Christians, died for other human beings.
But part of the awesome part about the Marine Corps is they had a list like the one I'm explaining. They had God, Corps, country, where they had that list. God first, that's where we get our values. Corps second. If we're no good as a Corps, we're no good to the country. It's almost like the least will among you will become first.
Tell me, what's going on with the Department of Homeland Security? It's being filled with Muslims. We have them. Muslims have actually removed 1,000 articles or issues of how to identify terrorism from the FBI manual. What is going on?
Well,
you're the expert. You're the one who is doing this stuff.
Well, I wrote a book about it too.
Okay, all
and
right.
I did series like yours, big one, for people to learn about all this.
Yeah, and I've seen one of the short ones, and it's outstanding, and we're going to make this available to the world. They need to hear yours.
Yes, sir. It was 1,000 curriculum. It is no longer 1,000 curriculum.
Oh, it was 1,000, and now
It's beyond, because our nation has been transformed. The enemy of the United States now sit in those places. It used to be training by the American, professional. Now it is the Muslim Brotherhood that is training our American soldiers, our American Homeland Security, our FBI, our National Security, our CIA, all of this trained by the Muslim Brotherhood on Islam and on terrorism. So therefore what happened, what we see problem happening in the United States of America, California, Florida, New York, Fort Hood, all those places, why could we not have stopped these people, from doing what they're doing? Because the executive order by Barack Hussein Obama says you could not paint these people, even if they have a shabby back end, you could not paint them with terrorism. The only way you can have to stop them is when they are in the act of terrorism. When that man in Seattle, Washington, asking people, "Are you a Muslim?" and they said no, so he took his knife, slash and stab. Allahu Akbar. Slash and stab. Allahu Akbar. He went killing, tried to kill 9 different men. When we look at these people been imported by the administration of Barack Hussein Obama. Some of them are here illegally. They came to our nation because of the executive order that he put in there. And this man with the knife, he was a leader. What leader was he? He was a leader of a Somalian or, a whole neighborhood. So this one, if he's learning this and doing this, he's setting the example to everybody else. Why could we not stop him? Because it says you could not stop him until he is executing
Okay, so while he is actually slicing into the throat of someone, that's the only time that you can stop him. And
yeah,
this
before
is,
that,
Obama put this in place.
Because they have 3 incidents on him, they could have arrested him before. But according to everything they remove from the FBI and the CIA and all this, now they could not do it this way. They have to do it the Muslim Brotherhood way. And these men, they are moving all over the world. They're sequestering United States of America military and power and advancing Islamization all over the Western civilization. This is happening by design. The refugees, I will talk about it in my second lesson tomorrow, and why the refugees are here and what their purpose. They're already cutting into our poor people. They're taking the food stamps, the free housing, free schooling, free transportation, and they're getting credit cards from our American government. We didn't do this for our poor people here in America. The one they needed it. We never gave them credit card. Why are we giving them $500 per family head? So if there's a family, it's 14 in there. God help us. How much money and who's paying for this? As a matter of fact, the Quran says, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. Meaning, the Christian have deceived and the Jews have deceived, but Allah is the greatest deceiver. Is one of His 99 names is the great deceiver. So therefore what happened is, when you are warring against your enemy, it's considered righteousness. Even when you lie, or even when you don't tell them the truth, even when you conjure a story.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
كانت الأمور أسهل مما كنا نتصور رغم أن هذا المكان كان له أهمية.
The average homicides per year in the US is 15,000. The average homicides per year in Iceland is 1. Just 1. And that truly is something to be very proud of.